All right, so where we left off, we attempted this particular challenge. It just was a kind of quick throw together kind of thing that we did, though, where we did a battle cruiser, and it didn't really work out, and we learned some lessons from that. Now, there's one challenge that we see here that I completed that I did not show in the last stream, and frankly, I'm probably not going to show in a stream because it was very difficult, and a lot of it came down to chance, but it did teach me a lot about how the game works, as well as tactics and things like that. First time I've ever really played a game like this, so it really did help to learn from this. So the idea of this particular challenge is you are facing off against a battle cruiser and a 2 light cruisers. I guess it says it's a semi-dreadnought. It's not a battle cruiser. Yeah, it's a semi-dreadnought. So it's an advanced battleship, and you have a pre-dreadnought era battleship or a heavy cruiser. You can pick one of the two, and this heavy cruiser is big enough and expensive enough that you're not really going to be able to have more than one. So pick one, you get one, and then you get an allied fleet of 2 light cruisers. So it's fairly equal, battleship versus battleship, 2 light cruisers in theory. Again, this is an advanced battleship, so in some ways you're behind the curve. So this is very challenging. And another thing that is difficult about this one, if you look at some of the previous challenges, you'll see the enemy will never retreat. Well, and this challenge doesn't say that. And the enemy can and will retreat. And the difficulty I was having is honestly overcoming this battleship is difficult enough as is. But oftentimes what was happening is the 2 light cruisers that are with you are randomly generated. And as is the enemy. The enemy is always going to be somewhat randomly generated as well. There's certain design stipulations that will always stay within. It will always keep with the same hull, I believe. But what's in the ship will vary from battle to battle. Most of the instances where I was coming in, and I would say all of the instances would be accurate, the 2 light cruisers that the enemy had were always faster than the light cruisers that I had. And as a result, if the battle started turning against the enemy, the 2 light cruisers would just F off, and I could never catch them, and the battle was not completable. So that was the real difficulty I had. There were times where I was able to defeat the enemy battleship, but one of the light cruisers managed to get away, and I didn't know where it went, and I couldn't have caught it anyway, and that was that. So the successful one that I had here, I'm just going to tell you what I did, so you can kind of follow along with me. So I did optimize maneuverability. I did build the battleship over the heavy cruiser. I did build it for somewhat speed and armor. Speed and armor was my main key to that design. So it could go 23 knots, which is pretty damn good for a pre-dreadnought battleship. And I went pretty hard on the armor, as much as I could within reason. Now, what really happened, though, is the enemy battleship, I got really lucky, and I hit an ammo detonation that just annihilated it. So I was able to kill the enemy battleship really early on, and then I just rushed down the 2 remaining light cruisers, and before they could make up their mind on whether they wanted to retreat or not, I just got in really close range and started pummeling them with all 3 of my ships. I was able to knock out one of the light cruisers. The other one tried to run away, but because I had enough speed in my battleship, I could kind of keep pace with it, and we were able to do enough damage to it to slow it down, and eventually we were able to close in. It really took a pounding, that last light cruiser, and I was able to finish it off with both my light cruisers opened up at very close range with torpedoes, and simultaneously 4 torpedoes hit it, 2 from each side, and just annihilated it. So it was fun to get that victory, but I don't know how many times I had to play through this before I was able to finally get that victory. Now, a lot of it, again, was learning lessons. Learned a lot on how to deploy these light cruisers, because at first I was just like, okay, the light cruisers have torpedoes. I'll just charge the enemy battleship. I'll get those close-range torpedo hits, and that'll be how I win this. Every time I did that, the light cruisers would get absolutely annihilated. So that was not the right strategy. So eventually I learned, I think I better designed my battleship, but also I learned to use the light cruisers as a screening force rather than as just like a suicide torpedo run. Especially as most of the time the light cruisers I was getting were slow. So they really had no chance of getting in there with a more advanced battleship design. And not only that, the two light cruisers of the enemy actually screening that battleship. 3 ships on one, they could just annihilate the one light cruiser, and then the other one would start to close, and then they would switch targets and annihilate that one. And they never really ever got any good torpedo launches off. Even if they got a torpedo launch off, it was too far range, too inaccurate. So a lot of learning there. And as a result, I really like this challenge just from the aspect of being able to learn how to use a fleet. It's your first real chance to do so. Because all your previous missions, you're using the same ship type for all of your ships. This, you had a varied ship layout, more realistic fleet design, kind of. So you get to learn some lessons there. All right, now that we've all talked about that and I've ranted enough, let's move on to this challenge. So the problem with this one, again, the enemy can retreat. It's the time limit. The time limit's very short. So the last time we did this, we did a battle cruiser, and although that battle cruiser was very powerful and could do devastating damage to the transports that we have to attack, it's only transports. There's no escorts. There are, what, how many of them? I'm reading, yeah, 10. Looks like 10. And you just don't have enough time with a single battle cruiser to sink them all. And you have to sink them all because that's the requirements. Now, normally, if this was a campaign playthrough, coming in with a battle cruiser and knocking out, or sinking, well, I should say, sinking 3 transports and heavily damaging another couple would be a pretty good outcome. But with this, you have a little bit more requirements. These challenges are challenges. They are not really necessarily what you would do in the campaign, I would assume. So having come out of that battlecruiser experience, I think I want to change it up. And I want to go on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. And I want to go with the lightest ships we can build, which is the light cruiser. We haven't built any light cruisers yet, so this would be kind of a learning experience. So we have 3 technology group things we can choose. We have gun and fire control, which is what I did with the battlecruiser. We have shell and torpedoes, and I'm thinking torpedoes are going to be our main weapon, so I'll probably select that. We'll read through all of what it does here in a second. And then we have just more funds. So if we want to get more ships or what have you, that would be the way to do it. I might do that if I need to squeeze out, like let's say we do the light cruisers, they don't work out. If I go heavy cruisers, maybe you can squeeze out another heavy cruiser and get 2 or 3 of them. Ideally, I'd like to have at least a minimum of 2 heavy cruisers if I went that route. All right. Well, anyway, this is still a lot of money, and I'd like light cruisers. Let's try and aim for 4. So I'm going to go with shells and torpedoes. What does that do? You get 10 shells, 10 explosives, 7 torpedo tubes, 7 towards torpedo propulsion, 7 towards torpedo size, and then we get a bunch of modifiers. So minus 20% torpedo launcher weight, plus 5% gun damage, plus 4.5% gun range, plus 20% shell penetration, plus 25% HE shell fire chance, minus 18% ammo detonation chance, in particular with torpedo tubes, plus 20% torpedo launch rotation speed. Okay, that's good. 14,000 meter torpedo range, 52 knot torpedo speed, pretty damn fast. Plus 5% torpedo damage, plus 107.5% torpedo accuracy, and then minus 25% torpedo reload time. And we unlock 10 components. All right, so that's a lot of read through, but the main thing I'm looking at here is that torpedo stuff. We're going to get a lot of benefit out of that. So let's go ahead and start. And I'll probably build, I did sample like what the builds are going to look like on this one a little bit. So we're probably going to aim for pretty small light cruisers so we can get as many of them as we can. Because the torpedoes are going to be our main avenue. So we've got many different choices here. We have the battle cruiser, which is what we built. Nice modern design. You can put a lot of nice effective guns on this thing. We have the armored cruiser, which is going to be a heavy cruiser. We've seen this design before, so this is something we've seen before. We have 2 semi-armored cruisers. These do count as light cruisers, but they're gonna be a little bit more on the big side. So displacement for the armored cruiser, minimum of 13,000 tons, 17,000 tons maximum. For this one, we've got 8,000 tons and 12,000 tons. So 8,000 minimum, 12,000 maximum. And then for this one, we have 7,000 and 10,000. So we're kind of reducing the size here. Again, this counts as a light cruiser. And then finally, we have the thing that's actually called a light cruiser. This one goes from 4 to 7,000 tons. We're going to go ahead and select that one because I think we're going to have the best chance of getting as many of these things as we can. Now, it says 8 light cruisers right now, but that's because we haven't really spent any money. We cannot spend over 25% of our budget, because if we do so, we will have less than 4, which is ideally what I'm looking for. It looks like we're going to be Japanese in this particular time, not that that really matters. All right, so as I said, I think we go with the minimum hull size and kind of see what we can cram on with that. We're definitely going to want to go with more speed here. Let's just go ahead and go down with that. I am going to go with standard bulkheads. Now, the one thing that I am somewhat concerned about, when we did the battlecruiser playthrough, we saw that the enemy has weapons on their transports. Very light armament, but we look down here, we have very minimal armor. So depending on what it is, our armor is probably not going to do a whole lot. So we will take damaging hits on our ships. And I am a little worried because, again, I have played with light cruisers before from that other scenario, that light cruisers can take damage that severely impacts them pretty quickly. In particular, they're very susceptible to flooding, from what I noted. And flooding is going to be bad from a standpoint of it will make that ship have to slow down. Because if you just go full speed ahead while you have flooding, you're just going to make the flooding worse. So that will temporarily kind of knock out whatever takes that flooding damage. So I'm a little worried about that. We'll have to see if their secondaries, which, I mean, it's going to be their main guns, but secondary equivalent guns can really do heavy damage to us or not. Or significant damage, that's probably a more accurate way to put it. All right, let's start with our main tower. We only have one choice here. We'll go ahead and slap that down. Secondary tower, again, we only have one choice, so we'll slap that down. Funnels, we have a couple different choices. I'll wait on that one. Let's situate our guns first. We don't have any barbettes that we can use, unfortunately. Not that that's really going to matter. So the maximum gun size we can put on this thing is an 8-inch gun. And I don't know, having tested this out, you really can't fit that on the front. I think really, honestly, the best way we're going to go is 6-inch guns. And we're going to use that as our kind of our main armament. We're going to put that down the center line, which does mean we're not going to be able to fit as many turrets, but that's okay. And then we're going to go with a another group of guns that I'm going to say are 4-inch guns, because I'm pretty sure you can't fit it 6-inch guns, because there is a central mounting here. Oh, you could fit them. We go all 6-inch guns, or do we go 4-inch guns to kind of lessen the load? Let's say accuracy on these things, 56%. 1,000 meters, 16% at 2,500 versus 4-inch guns. Slightly more accurate at close range, including up to 2,500 meters. Start to drop off after that. I think there is a slight penalty if you mix gun types. I'm not sure if that applies to the light cruisers. I guess we'll check that out here in a second. Seems like it's still... Oh, we might have dropped... No. Okay. For whatever reason, these are reading the same. Oh, that's because they are 6-inch guns. Whoops, I forgot to select. That is somewhat troublesome. All right. Let's see now. 58%. Yeah, okay, it didn't change it. I think sometimes with the main armament, if you have two different main gun armaments on some of the bigger ships, it does indeed affect your accuracy. I don't know if that's intended or not. And I think that's realistically all we're going to get away with. There's technically mounts here, but I haven't been able to figure out how to get them to mount. There's mounts here. We're not going to really be able to fit anything in there because of the 6-inch gun. We could rotate, but I don't think that really affects anything. Maybe if we put our secondary tower slightly differently, could fit that in, but I'm not going to worry about that. We also have casement guns, which it looks like we can get 3-inch guns as big as that will be, so we'll do those. All right, so that's going to be our armament. So we have 4 3-inch guns, 2 4-inch guns, and 2 6-inch guns. Broadside-wise, it's going to be pretty much having that, except for the 6-inch guns, which can hit broadside either side. Doesn't really matter. So... And again, if we're closing in, it's really going to be the 6-inch gun and the 2 3-inch guns they're going to be possibly playing in. Maybe only 1 3-inch gun. So really, the 6-inch guns are going to be the most important thing. All right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and take a look at funnels. We do want to have a lot more speed than we currently have. We're pretty close to the weight limit. The reason why is because we have iron plate on. Let's go ahead and slap that up to at least Krupp, I think. Krupp level 1. Because the problem with the iron plate, it is, in theory, lighter, but the problem is hull form. And hull form is kind of, the best way to think about it is how efficient your hull shape is. And because The hull form is inefficient with iron plate. With a lighter, smaller ship like this, it's really a lot of drag is maybe the best way to think about it. So watch what happens when we go to the Krupp. Now the Krupp, it does weigh less, sure, but watch how much less weight we have. You might see that even more so with the compound armor, perhaps. Yeah, see how much down the compound armor went? So in theory, this armor, it weighs less. Now you do all have some hull weight in there too. Maybe playing a part, but I think that hull form is a big element too. We'll go with Krupp. We'll play with it. I mean, we could go back down to compound because it's a lot cheaper armor. So if we're really hitting that cost, we might drop it down to something cheaper because it's not like this armor is going to do a whole lot for us anyway. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that right now. We lose a lot of armor strength, but it saves us some money. I mean, how much money are we talking about though? So 180 versus very minimal. We do lose some on the weight. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Krupp 1 because weight's probably gonna be more of a problem. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, barbettes. I would like to have some element of barbettes so we don't have an ammo explosion kill us, maybe. We'll wait on that. Definitely I want a Citadel, which is going to help us not take engine hits, which will cripple us. Standard bulkheads. This mostly is going to help you with fire extinguishing. Again, maybe a problem on our ship. Then flooding, I've told you, these light cruisers really have a problem with flooding. Definitely we're going to want that. And we're still at 9% cost, so that's doing pretty decently so far. We haven't put our torpedo tubes on, we haven't put funnels on. Let's go ahead and grab these enhanced funnels. One there. I can get this placement a little better. I guess I could mix funnel types. Or can I not? Oh, okay, it's not gonna let me put more than one funnel on. Alright, so we'll kind of put one funnel on. That is really terrible. Oh, that's because I haven't upgraded my engine. Alright, what do we got here? Engine weight. Or power. I'll go ahead and go with the best here. Floatability, fuel stowage, ammo detonation chance. This is going to be the thing that actually helps us the most. We're up to 88.5. If we go to force, that'd give us even better, but it would make the funnel cost and weight higher. I think force is probably not a bad idea because we're going to need a lot more speed. I'd like to do, let's say, 27 knots. Let's go with 27 knots as a baseline. We're only getting 68.4% efficiency. Is there anything I can do to help that? Ah, okay. Semi-oil definitely helped that. All right, 80%. I'll take that. So at the moment, we're at 17%. We still have 8% still to work with, so that's pretty good. What does the shaft do for us? Max speed penalty, acceleration, turning rate, ship repairs. I don't think that's going to really help us with efficiency or anything. An auxiliary engine is just really to help us in case our engine takes damage. It also does help with repairing the engine itself and water pumping and things like that. I don't know how necessary that's going to be though, so we'll hold off on that. All right. Yeah, I'm not really sure I care about this because this more deals with torpedoes and our enemy's not going to have torpedoes, so I don't really care. Barbettes is going to protect us against ammo detonation, which we may actually care about. All right. Let's focus on the main thing now. We have our guns. Let's get our torpedo launcher. I'm probably only going to be able to get away with a 3-tube, I would imagine. So let's try that out because we're more than likely going to also upgrade our... Oh. Let's get some range finding and some radio. Well, let's do a nice 3-tuber. Probably an okay arc right there. It is going to affect the arc of our turret a little bit, but that's okay. So we got the 3-tube torpedo there. We're still at 20%, but I'm definitely going to want to improve torpedoes. Let's try 17-inch. Still pretty good. I want electric so that they don't really see it coming. What is the downside of that? So range and speed goes down. Could be a potential bad thing. I mean, we already have fast torpedoes, 52 knots, but I don't know. Yeah, alternatively, we go with fast torpedoes. What's the difference in cost? So torpedo launchers cost 12.5 versus no change. This doesn't change your cost at all. There's no real downside going with the fast torpedoes outside of the fact that they're more detectable. But that torpedo speed would go up even higher. I mean, 30% of 52 knots. I mean, that's going to be quite a bit of a addition. You lose a lot in range, but I'm probably going to fire these things at point blank anyway. If they're really fast, that does help. Their accuracy will go down, but it's only 5%. What appeals to me here is the detection range, so they wouldn't probably dodge it until it's way too late. And you get a lot of accuracy, but I don't know about the speed. Speed and cost is a little bit concerning. So I think we go fast torpedoes here, because that doesn't change anything. Maybe we get more torpedoes. Okay. So far, so good. I mean, we still have a lot of room here. I'm going to go white powder here, because there's not a lot of downsides of white powder. And it's going to keep the cost relatively low compared to some of the more advanced powder types. All right. Well, we still have a lot of room tonnage, and we still have a lot of room cost-wise. So really, all that's left is just to make our torpedoes more effective, perhaps. We'll go with the barbettes if we really are concerned about ammo detonation. Yeah. All right, let's see what we can get out of this thing. 18 inchers. Still looking good. How about a 19 incher? This is not really increasing the consciousness too much. 20 inch. Go maximum here. 22 inch torpedoes. We already have the increased ammo, so that's already taken care of. All right, so we have a little bit of playroom. I don't really care about this stuff because we don't really have turrets to speak of, and the guns aren't going to be our primary anyway. It's going to be these torpedoes. We could go with heavy shells just to make it a little bit more damaging. Although that does put us kind of right on the line. Alternatively, we could go with more armor, but I don't know if we'd be able to up armor it enough to make a difference. We've got pretty good torpedoes. We could up our speed just to like try. I don't know if we have enough money though. Yeah, that makes us lose one of our. Okay, I mean I like this. This is like an initial place to start. So we've got as big torpedoes as we can. So this will be plus 300% damage. What does the damage rating say it's going to be? I'm not sure if this is calculated in or not. Wow. Over 9,500 damage. We still have a lot of weight to spare, which is fine. 27 knots is probably pretty damn good for what we're looking for. I mean, obviously, the faster you can go, the better, but especially if we're going to be doing torpedo runs. Could we even squeeze in a little bit of... Just squeeze a little bit of armor. Go with 1.5. The conning tower and belt. Probably try and squeeze a little bit into the turrets. Okay. Secondaries, we don't really have any in theory, so well, that technically the Kazema guns are secondaries. Sure, we'll go an inch. I mean, it's not stopping us. Turret top, sure, half an inch. As long as I have 4, I don't really care. Go a little bit more on the deck. Deck extended, a little bit. Oh, okay, that was too much. All right, that's gonna do it. So we up that armor a little bit. I just don't think it's going to really do a whole lot because if we look at this, let's say they have 4-inch guns, which is as small a gun as we can have as our main guns. Well, actually, I don't know. What does that second number mean? So, okay, so our deck would be fine if they're firing that kind of stuff, but our belt will be penetrated easily unless they're firing from really long range. What about a 2-inch gun? Yeah, even still, like with the kind of ranges we're talking about, they're going to be able to penetrate our belt, no problem. And we do have Krupp armor, which is going to increase that efficiency beyond what the inches are. So what is the efficiency of Krupp armor? Plus 70%. So what's plus 70% of 1.5 inches? I don't know. I don't want to do the math. I mean, that would be over 2 inches, right? So in theory, we could fend off maybe 2 or 3 inch shells at some points, like if we have the angle right. All right, well, in any case, let's just go ahead and launch and then see what happens. We should have all of the things that we need to make this successful. Our guns aren't our primary, but we don't have half bad guns. We have 4 light cruisers. My strategy here, I don't know how they're going to set up our fleet. But as far as strategy goes, I think... Well, let's take a look. They're putting us all in one fleet. I think what we want to do... Well, that's not true. They have 3 ships in one fleet and 1 off in a secondary. What I want to do is I want to attach the Yama to the second group. So now there's 2 ships per group. Where are the transports? It probably told me where they are. They're really far away, I guess. All right, let's start with Group 1. You're going to full steam. I'm going to guess they're over here somewhere. I mean, we have no indication of where they were. If it said we see this from whatever direction, we'll see. All right, you guys go over this way, and we'll kind of hedge our bets. We'll go both directions. All right, that's probably good. But yeah, the idea here is we're going to close point blank range. Let's go ahead and have, as a matter of fact, select everybody. Everybody turn your torpedo tubes off. Okay, that for whatever reason didn't work, so we're just going to go through. Oh, it did it on the lead ships, but not the... Oh, no, it did it on 1 ship. We'll just go through and manually turn off all those torpedoes because we want to have the optimum setup here. Well, again, I wasn't paying attention, so if it said you see smoke in X direction, I don't know which direction that was because I wasn't paying attention because I was focusing on what I was going to do with my fleet. This started to be really far away. I don't feel like it did that the other time I played. I'm not really sure which way to go. And considering we're on such a tight time schedule, I'm just going to restart this. Because I really do need to pay attention if it tells me where they are. Enemy smoke is spotted in the north. See, that helps. Now I know which way to go. That was my fault because I didn't pay attention to what it said to start off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and detach. And then you are going to attach to the second group. So now we have 2 groups. All right. Again, we're going to tell everybody to turn off their torpedoes because we do not want them to fire them. Surely. We could probably put it on save and they would do okay, but we're going to micromanage the torpedoes because that's our primary thing. So north is over this way. And in case you're wondering how I'm figuring that out, up in the top left is a compass. Okay. Unpause. Again, this eats into a lot of time that I have. Considering this is only 20 minutes, I can't even see them. But we are heading due north, more or less. Guess we should more north it. Oh, there they are. Okay, I guess they're not that far away. Alright, so the strategy I'm going to use here, and they're probably already doing it, is we're going to open up on just 1 ship. Aha, okay, now we can break off. So you guys go after that ship. And we're going to just torpedo this guy. We're going to close in a very close range. As a matter of fact, I want to go... Yeah, heading right at them, we will end up behind them. Everybody, hold on. Everybody turn your torpedoes, not your torpedoes, your shells to HE, because I want to do fire damage if I can. Looks like it applies to both ships. Yeah, good. Alright, perfect. Well, as I said, I'm probably going to be micromanaging a lot here. Alright, so you guys are going to go after the rear of the fleet. You guys are going to go after kind of like somewhat in the center. Although it looks like it's more towards the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the Yubari hit this guy with torpedoes, and then the Yayema is going to come in and hit the next one in line with its torpedoes. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And then the same strategy here. The Itsukushima is going to hit this one. And then the Chitose is going to go and hit this one. And then we'd have 4 ships knocked out. Or potentially knocked out. We've got some good fires going. Alright, let's speed this up because we still are pretty far out. Let's count ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 2 we don't have identified yet. I'm also hoping that this initial gun barrage will... you know what? Maybe we change our strategy here. We hit this one and then that one. Not really sure. It depends on how the turning is going to work. Because the rear ship is going to be kind of in a weird position here. Okay, so my position is not quite what I want it just yet. Because I want to come in from behind and then kind of turn at very close range. And then we just, you know, torpedo. Unless the ship, like, unless we cripple a ship with the gunfire. If we cripple the ship, then I'll change. Alright, your spotter's knocked out, which is actually ideal. That means they won't spot the torpedoes. Got some flooding damage here. Yeah, we might alter our target. Go after this transport, and then this one with our torpedoes. And just let this one burn and flood. Although it's not flooding that badly. But yeah. Fortunately, a quarter of our time has already elapsed. So this is where I start to really worry about this particular mission. And our ability to do it. Maybe we don't have enough speed. What kind of guns do they have? They have 4-inch guns, so that is technically a threat to me. But I'm going pretty fast. What is their top speed? 10 knots. All right. They're pretty damn slow. Yeah, I'm just worried about how fast our reloads are going to be. You know, that's what I'm worried about. If we're going to have enough time to close in, because I mean, we might be looking at. I don't know, with the speed we're going in there right now, we might be looking at, I don't know, 12 minutes left? Do we have enough time to get these torps off and reload and all that nonsense? I'm assuming this is our torpedo range. Although, no, we had pretty long torpedo range, so I'm not sure what this indicator is. So far, I don't think any of our ships have taken hits. But we're going pretty fast and we're smaller, so it's kind of hard for them to hit us. Okay, we're still closing. We're starting to get pretty damn close to this one. We might want to start our turn. Alright, start our turn. Yeah, there we go. Turn in. Once we've turned kind of alongside it. Yeah, 1.3 is it looks like, but my cursor might be slightly off. All right, I mean, we've done decent damage here, but I don't think it's catastrophic enough. We really should just hit them with torps. Okay. Honestly, I think the Yubari, as soon as you get a firing solution, you should probably take it. Matter of fact, let's turn in a little bit more sharply. I'm a little worried about the back ship not turning in soon enough, because it's always going to follow the course of the Yubari, and it may not turn in soon enough. As soon as I feel like... Yeah, let's just go ahead and tell you to go normal on this one. As soon as you feel like you have that arc, go for it. I don't think they're going to be able to dodge it. As close as this is like point-blank range. Alright, there's the launch. Okay, so immediately, you turn off your torpedoes. Switch targets. Alright. So, we're going to turn off now. Hopefully the Yayama gets into to that turn. I'm a little concerned about that turn, whether or not it's going to get that transport. But we'll see. We'll watch the Yayama. You guys are getting kind of close too. So, let's go ahead and go for your turn. Okay, they kind of like that. I might have to correct the turn as they go. I mean, I can manually correct the turn, but for right now, that will do it. I could also slow down to make the turn a little tighter. There we go. It's starting to get tight. Alright, I want to watch the torpedoes. Although, it's kind of hard to watch torpedoes and micromanage all this nonsense. Okay. Probably getting a little closer than I'd like for those torpedoes, but... torpedoes look pretty damn good. Looks like all three of them are going to hit. And again, that transport has no chance of dodging that. Yeah, he's dead. Alright, that's good to see. So one salvo of torpedoes is enough to kill these guys. Okay, so we're just going to continue with this course. Again, hopefully the Yayama turns here. We could always detach and make sure that I can make that approach. So the big problem that I have with the detachment is your AI has a habit of kind of being weird if they feel like they're going to cut into the course of another ship, and they oftentimes slow down and be all strange about it. So, okay, let's switch over to here. Continue to this tight turn. Now this one will be easier to line up because you got 1, 2, 3 ships in a row. Whereas this one, if we don't make the turn, this is the only ship there, so we'd have to back around. Okay. See if you can do what we need. I'm going to go ahead and put them on normal because, I mean, frankly, as soon as you get arc, this will probably hit. And then I just say, continue following this course. So there's the torpedoes. We're going to go ahead and turn them off so they don't fire the reloads at a weird time. Those torpedoes look pretty damn good, but again, point blank range, they're going to land. Okay. And then your sister ship is just going to follow you. Okay, another sunk ship. Alright. So unfortunately, the Yayama is not making the turn that we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and detach it. Yayama. I need you to do a hard turn. I'm going to do it manual. Hard turn. You know what? Should we just fire on this one? It's not the ideal firing solution. I say we get point blank and make sure. Alright, so I'm going to really have to micromanage this turn. But we'll get it. It's going to be a hard turn, so we'll see. I am going to slow down to make the turn a little tighter. Yeah, that's probably good. And then we'll once it gets looks like we're making the turn, I'll level out. You start circling around because your reloads are, you know, it's going to take a while, but let's have you switch targets because this guy's probably going to die to our torpedoes. I kind of have the same concern here that you're not going to make the turn because of the weirdness of the fleet stuff. So you, I'm going to make a hard turn here. You're going to go ahead and just start attacking there. Make a hard turn for me. Chitose. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to keep them in a fleet for the meantime until the lead ship gets out of the way. All right, we're going to have to watch this. So you're going to make your turn. Let's just select the Yayama. Yeah, I could. We'll see how the turn goes. If it looks like this turn's not going to be made, we could just have the Chitose come over here. Alright, the lead ship's out of the way. So what we're going to do is Chitose is now going to be split off. And I think Leo's right. I'm going to have it come in and go after this transport here. This is not a bad target. And then we could easily make that turn. Alternatively, we just come in and hit that one from the other side. It doesn't really matter. We'll see what it looks like. But I'll correct the turn as we go. Okay. We're going to keep watching the Yama here. Because the Chitose is going to be a little ways away from making the move we need it to. go ahead and just have it turn its torps. Oh, this guy's already flooding. Is that going to be lethal flooding? Because if that's the case, we don't want to fire our torpedoes at it. Yeah, they're starting to get it under control, though. I think it's going to flood by on its own. I mean, look, 2 compartments are already down, and it's almost dead. So we're going to reroute. Full speed. We're going to reroute, and we're going to go after this ship. We're going to keep hitting this with our guns, but I think we reroute and we torp something else. This is almost dead. Maybe that's a bad call. I don't really know. Like, flooding is serious. Like, that's going to be seriously lethal. Which transport is escaping? Which one are you talking about? This one? Caster? Yeah, good point. Let's go ahead and try and chase that down so it can't get away. Maybe our torps will reload in time to kill the caster. Alright. Yeah, but I think this guy is gonna flood. Like, that's serious flooding. I mean, we could just smack him with some torps to make sure. But I feel like that's kind of a waste of our torps, especially as it seemingly takes a really long time to reload. I mean, we're halfway through our time limit already. It may bottom out at 20%, though. I don't know if these 2 compartments are going to flood fully. I don't have time to not kill it, or I don't have time to wait for the torps, because I don't know which one's the right answer there. Well, we'll micromanage while we think about it. The more I do it, the more I think, I don't know. I just don't really know who to hit with this. This is kind of a weird course that we're taking here. Yes! Thank you, Leo. That's very, very clear answer. I think we leave this one. I mean, he's dead in the water, so we'll keep the Yubari on him a little bit, and we'll keep the Yayema firing at him. Maybe that's enough. The Yayema will come and hit this guy with torps. Alright. I feel like I have to make a decision on the torps fairly soon. So, I think the thing that I'm going to do is we probably have a firing solution pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that on. By the time the arc comes in, it will be fairly close range. Okay. I got that ship burning. I'm going to go after the caster, but I'm going to continue to hit these other ones with guns. Okay. Let's have the Yubari, which is the first one to fire its torps. Change its target over to here. Yeah, the flooding is continuing. Let's have you start leveling out, and we're going to torp you. Did the torps happen over here? Sure did. Okay. Have you switch your guns. Turn your torps off. We're just going to go down the line and hit these guys, and we're going to just follow the caster here. This guy, in theory, could try and run, but he's aimed the wrong way at the moment to get away. All right. I mean, it's very likely if our torpedoes don't reload in time, which I think they would, we could probably another torpedo run going. This guy's almost flooded. I think he might go down. We're going to continue to hit him with our guns. Speed are you going at? 27 knots? Let's switch your guns to here, and you need to go for the torp. Yeah, okay, he did sink. Good. Okay, we're going for torps now. You continue your course like this. You continue your course like that. You are targeted there. Switch your target to here. This guy's almost down through the gunfire as well. Our guns are doing a lot more work than I thought they would. Alright. We almost have a torp solution here. Oh, another ship just sunk from gunfire. Okay, let's switch our target to that. You stay on that. Let's have you switch your aim. This is looking pretty good. We have, I think, plenty of time. Let's have you go there. And honestly, I'm going to turn your torps on as soon as you have a firing solution. It's probably going to be a good one. Yeah, but they do take out a ship pretty much full out. But the guns are doing pretty good work here at this short range. Okay, another ship went down. Okay, you guys switch your target to that. You are going to start turning. I would prefer you turn a little harder than that, buddy. It looks like we're not going to be able to pull that off unless I slow down. Okay. Slow down. Fine, you can make the turn. I believe in you. Yeah, okay, yeah, circle around, but you are going to start aiming at this guy because that's our primary target right now, although Torps may be online for him. So we've got this ship, which has almost not really been hit too much. We have this ship, which has been untouched. And then most of the rest of the ships are sunk or about to be sunk, like this guy's just about to eat some torpedoes fairly soon. We're going to have 3 cruisers firing on this guy, so I don't think he's going to last too long. Again, our torps are going to come up pretty soon, too. Okay. Is that only 1 torpedo that fired? I'm not really sure why that was the case, but it should be enough. I mean, these are very devastating torpedoes. And we have done quite a bit of flooding damage to this guy already, so 1 torpedo might be enough. Although I'm somewhat disappointed that that was not more torpedoes. I'm really confused at why we did not hit him harder than that. He might still go down, but I'm a little confused at what my ships just did there. Alright, he went down anyway. Alright, you, my friend, are going to reroute. And you're going to come and attack this guy. And then you're circling around. Perfect. Your torps are very close to being back online. I'm going to have you slow way down. Because you're probably going to be in a good position to torp this guy fairly soon. I want you to start turning away. Okay, and I want you to start turning like that and speed way up. You switch targets. Okay, so there should not be many of these guys left, unless I've just like completely overlooked one. Okay, so that guy died without me even having to use torpedoes. All right, so we're going to circle around. These guys are going to stick on this one that's still up. And this guy, which is about to have torpedoes come back online, he's going to speed back up. Those 2 will go after that one. So we've got 2 cruisers on each thing. These guys aren't going to have their torps up in time, but hopefully it doesn't matter, because our guns, as I said, they have done really good work here. Yeah, see, I think this is just the way to go about it. I mean, light cruisers are the ideal convoy raiders. They're very well suited for it. They're nice and they've got nice speed. They've got the proper guns for it. The problem with our battle cruisers is oftentimes they were over-penetrating. So although we had very powerful guns, the very limited armor that the transports had meant that those guns weren't really doing a whole lot. The shells are just piercing right through the superstructure, and transports have a lot of superstructure, so although having a big shell like that slam through you definitely hurts, even if it's a high explosive, it slams through you and goes out to the other side, it's not going to do as much damage if it goes into you and then blows up. So yeah, it looks like both of these guys have their torps ready to go, so this guy's super dead. He's also got flooding, and flooding slows you down, so... And they're already pretty damn slow, so they're not really going to run away. I want to sink this last one with some torps. I'm a little... Oh, okay, so there's 3 targets here. This one's the one that's sinking. Yeah, exactly. Battlecruisers can be convoy raiders, but it's just not really what they're suited for. Oh, I'm pretty sure there will be some of the later challenges. A lot of it just comes down with the level of technology. Like, this level of technology we have right now, you could do long-range fighting. But I'm just coming in close like this to get the torpedoes best effect. So... Oh, and hello, Brunswick. Go like cruiser. Make sure everybody's going as fast as they can. Oh, that guy's sunk too. All right, everybody go on the one lone transport who's also sunk. All right, that should be it. And we have the fade out to designate that it is indeed it. We had 4.5 minutes left to go, so that one went really well. But again, we used the right ships for the right thing.